Brian Lara used pot plants to work on his placement. John Wright glued his glove to his bat. Sachin Tendulkar dug up practice pictures. Tatenda Taibu cut the top off his bat. Claire Taylor used a hockey grip. Steve Smith was from tennis. Dean Jones would call phantom runs. And Victor Trumper turned the nets into a war zone to survive. The best batters in the world do whatever they have to make runs. We have told their stories in our new book, The Art of Batting.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Good Areas Live. I'm Behram Kazi, who you can find at Def Mango on Twitter. And with me is Varun Alvaconda, who you can find nowhere, even if you try to find him. He is pretty on the down low, I would say. And just before we get into this eventual preview of the Old Trafford test between England and India, I'd just like to tell you all of you guys that these podcasts are powered by our supporters on Patreon. You can become one of them by going to Patreon/Good Areas Podcast, and then you can enjoy ad-free content, talk to all of us exclusively, give us quick picks ideas, bother us randomly, all of that fun stuff. Anyway, Varun, it's a marquee series, 5-match test series between England and India in England. And England are currently 2-1 up in this Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. India now have to win both games to win the series. The next test match is in Old Trafford. And India have been spending time with Manchester United. How random was that?
Yeah, it's so weird. I think I don't follow football a lot, so I don't care. But it's just such a it seems to just messed up with people's brains a bit because it's two different universes colliding for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the sort of team you draw inspiration from currently, Manchester United. So I hope that Amorim hasn't rubbed off on Gigi or, Bruno hasn't rubbed off on Shubman Gill. But anyway, I mean, Man U fans will absolutely obliterate me after this one. I'm a Chelsea guy, so I mean, I don't care. But yeah, weird crossover. What I found funny was that there was this picture.
No, apparently both are sponsored by Adidas.
Oh, well, there you have it. But yeah, I saw a picture of Siraj bowling to Harry Maguire, and I was thinking to myself, they're going to Bumrah saying, you can only play 3 out of 5 test matches. And then, Siraj, why don't you go bowl a 3-over spell to Harry Maguire? Yeah, that was funny. Anyway, rain is in the forecast for this test match, Varun, pretty much throughout the entirety of this test match. And Manchester rain is famous for being, well, it's just notorious in a way that once it comes down, it doesn't really stop. We know this also from that Ashes test match between England and Australia, where England probably would have won that game if not for the rain. And does it kind of, I don't know, scare you as an Indian cricket supporter?
I mean, I don't mind it, but parts of me wants it to be rained out and India win the 5th test so we can have the moral win. Like how England won the moral Ashes. So I'm just, from the shithousery point of view, I do think it would be great for the good of shithousery. Obviously, if you're in India, you don't want it to be a rain.
I think if you're a lover of Test cricket, you don't want it to rain because this has been such a high-quality series, right? And now that, we are expecting the decks not to be as flat as they were in the first 2 Test matches, I feel like it makes the series even more exciting. But what do you have to say about the surface? I generally don't like to look at these pictures of the deck 2 to 3 days prior to the test match because, it doesn't really tell you anything. And even if it looks green, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it's going to hoop around or seam around. But, if the weather is gloomy, what do you think is going to go down over here? You've probably looked at some numbers, right?
Yes, I was just looking at the numbers. So Manchester seems to be very weird in the fact that it alternates. One year it just seems to be flat, both in tests and counties. The other one year it seems to be bowling friendly. This year has been flat. So
okay.
And interestingly, spinners have overperformed the fast bowlers.
Okay.
So the fast bowling average has been 42 and the first spinners has been 33. So we know that means Gautam Gambhir will not play Kuldeep Yadav.
I mean, honestly, if not now, then when, right? I really feel for Kuldeep because the man hasn't really done anything wrong and he's averaging, 22 runs per dismissal in Test cricket. I know it's a very small sample size, but we know that Kuldeep Yadav is an elite left-arm wrist spinner, turns the ball both ways. I think his wrong gun is better than his stock delivery. And, I would have played him in every Test match, and here we are at the start of the 4th Test, and we still haven't seen Kuldeep. So it really does boggle your mind.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think that if he does play, they almost sets him up for failure in a way. Because with the amount of hype he's getting, if he doesn't take like 20 wickets, he probably would have underperformed. Right? It's like I do think like I feel like if he should have had like a test or two to get used to it at this point.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
unfortunately for him.
I know what the rationale is over here from Gautam Gambhir, especially, is that, they want a deeper batting lineup. But then my argument to that is that those runs that you're making up with your extra batter, you can eliminate via Kuldeep. And, it's also the fact that you are opting to play a second spinner as is. You might as well play the better spinner.
Yeah, so the funny thing is they've not actually even extended their batting because they've traded number 6 runs with NKR. So they both things didn't make sense. It's either like they either had to let's say have a like a Jurel or like Sai, one of those guys at 6, and then have Washi at 8 to deepen the batting, or let's say we'll have Kuldeep at 8 and then we'll have like a specialist at 6, right? That's the way you should have done. But they're playing all 3 all rounders, as I said, and I was saying in third innings as well. It just they fucked themselves over a bit, right?
Yeah, and they basically kind of handicap themselves in a way by not having one extra specialist batter, and then the same goes for a specialist bowler, right? And I mean, it worked out for them in the second test match because they didn't really need any bowling. Akashdeep and Siraj pretty much took matters into their own hands. They shared 17 wickets amongst each other. But I even mentioned during that game's review that this has worked now. It may not work tomorrow. And I've always felt very, very, very iffy with respect to that particular tactic. But yeah, I mean, if you've told us those numbers that leg spinners or wrist spinners have done really well, then there's no reason not to play Kuldeep Yadav. And even if he's not as potent in the first batting innings, when it comes down to the second batting innings and there is rough to exploit, you'd rather have Kuldeep as opposed to Jadeja or Washington. And that's not to say that Washington is bad. Of course, he showed us how good he can be, right? In the previous test match at Lord's. But then again, given the fact that, barring Ben Duckett, Joe Root, and throw in perhaps Jamie Smith, who can really play spin well in that English batting order?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like England again, also their batting hasn't actually fired as much as I think you'd think it would. Right? They've been like you'd say they've been carried a bit by Jamie Smith at times. Right? He's probably been the only batter who's consistently done well in every test match, right?
That's true. Very, very true. Anyway, of course, we know some more things with respect to potential lineups, and let's come to India first up. Plenty of injuries over there. I've heard that Nitish Kumar Reddy has been ruled out of this test series, and both of the deeps, the pace bowling deeps are not available. Akashdeep is injured, as is Arshdeep. So they've brought in Anshul Kamboj as well into the test team. Where do you think they're going with respect to their pace attack? Because we know Bumrah is playing, right? Siraj confirmed today that Jasprit Bumrah will be featuring in the Old Trafford test. And then, of course, Siraj is there. Who is your third seamer, Prasidh Krishna or Kamboj?
I think it's like from what I've heard, it seems to be Kamboj. They want him in the team. Like Arshdeep is gone as well, right? I don't know if they trust Prasidh as much as I think like they probably like did at the start of the series. So he's probably like gone down the pecking order, which is a bit weird. I think it's like okay, I don't blame them for it too much. I'd say. So what we really don't know is which direction India will go in with the number 8 slot. Do they go rogue and bring Shardul in for NKR?
I was about
and then
to
have
say
Jadeja
that.
6, Washington 7, which terrifies the fuck out of me, by the way.
Yeah. Honestly, it's probably the most likely, thing to happen with respect to that playing 11 because knowing Gautam Gambhir based on whatever we've seen thus far, he wants extra batting at 8. And with Shardul, you get neither. You don't really, go deep with your batting lineup and you don't strengthen your bowling stocks. So that would be diabolical if it happens. But I feel like there's every chance that this might happen, honestly. Like Shardul may very well be part of that playing 11.
Yeah, definitely. Also, the other thing is like after the last test match, I think a lot of people were like certain Karan will be dropped. Will they drop him with this much uncertainty now? Like, how many changes do you want to make in a test match, right?
Plus, I've made this, not plus, but like I've just made a random observation that there are 3 people within cricket who say, yeah, definitely a lot. It's Babar Azam, Shubman Gill, and Varun Alvaconda. Every time. Anyway, I don't think they should drop Karun Nair. We've discussed this before, that he's essentially batting at 3 as a Shubman Gill Delayer or a Gillair. And it's kind of sort of worked. I know he hasn't like scored too many runs, but he's spend some time out in the middle. And at times he's looked really good, right? In fact, you said that he has a very high ceiling and low floor as far as aesthetic brilliance is concerned, which I 100% agree with. So he should retain his spot. The other thing, or the news that has been buzzing, is that Rishabh Pant isn't fit enough to keep because of his broken fingernail or whatever. That means that India would kind of be forced to play Jurel at 6 then, and Pant plays as a specialist batter.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure if Jurel is who bats at 3 in that case.
Karun retains his spot at 3.
So you're saying
I think
that
NKR goes out, Jurel comes in.
Right. Okay, that's what I would do. But is that what Gambhir will do? Because if you're talking batting depth, like Shardul at 8 versus Washington Sundar at 8, it's two very different situations, right?
Yeah. Well, I think there's every chance that we'll see Shardul, but Jurel might just be a forced change. And maybe losing Nitish Kumar Reddy could be a blessing in disguise, because then again, I always felt that having a specialist batter at 6 helps. Looking at Sarfaraz Khan and the weight that he's shed, he might be, in contention for that spot in the next series. But then, I don't know. Because if Pant is fit to keep, then I feel like Gambhir might just go 6 Jadeja, 7 Washington, and 8 Shardul if he wants to play Kuldeep. But I don't think he'll play Kuldeep with both of those guys in, right? You can't play Kuldeep, Jadeja, and Washington.
No, I don't think so. Even for I think if there's a ground you want to do, it might be Old Trafford this year. But that's probably too overkill, you'd say. I also I'm just not a fan of Jadeja at 6. I feel like I'm the only person in this world who has that opinion at this point in time.
I feel like if there's a guy who's scored 4 half centuries on the bounce in these conditions, then surely he could bat number 6.
Yeah, I think he's in great batting form. I just don't know if I want that as a long-term solution. Maybe as a stopgap, sure. I don't mind it too much. There's so much weirdness with that team, man, I swear.
Yeah. Anyway, can you bring up this comment by Musical Labs? He says that these guys are harping on about Sarfaraz Khan because he's Muslim. Varun, can you share his first-class numbers with me?
What was it? Is he averaging 70 or something?
He's averaging an insane number. And he kind of bats in that middle order and lower middle order as well. So, I mean, I don't know what you're harping on about over here, Musical Labs. Perhaps you should stick to the guitar.
What's your point?
Yeah, Varun's Hindu. So, yeah, and this is good areas. We don't give a fuck about these things. Anyway, so there's that whole number 6 debate, right? And what else is there? I feel like everyone else kind of picks their own spot, right? You've got Jaiswal and Rahul up top. I would stick with Karun Nair at 3 because I don't think he's done all too badly, even if the runs aren't there. Then Shubman Gill at 4, Pant at 5, and potentially Jurel at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. I wonder if the team are maybe looking at Sai coming back in. Did Sai get injured or did Sai injure someone? I think Sai injured Arshdeep. I don't know if he's gotten injured himself or not, from what I've heard, right?
Anyway, so then you've got 6, Dhruv Jurel at 6, and then maybe Jadeja 7. Yeah, that's where I would probably think about not playing Washington. Because I would go Bumrah, Siraj, another seamer, and Kuldeep. I'm going for 20 wickets.
Yes, I agree with you. If you have Jurel at 6, I completely get it. I think that it probably works, right?
But they're probably going to go Jadeja, Washington, Shardul. And then 3 other seamers.
Yeah, so what would it be? Kamboj. Kamboj, I think, is a fine number 9. I think he is. Did he make runs recently? I think he's okay.
But he's also going to be a debutant, Varun, and there's a certain pressure that comes with making your test debut. That too in
so
such a
you
big
say
series.
that, but it's usually debutants are the ones who cause a lot of chaos in the history of Test cricket because no one knows how to play them.
That's also fair. So it's going to be very fascinating to see what sort of direction India go with respect to their starting 11. And we haven't been entirely pleased with their tactics thus far, but the series is still up for grabs. India could very well win this series 3-2 if things go their way. And I mean, at this point, you'd probably assume that Bumrah will play both these upcoming Test matches.
Yeah, he has to play them, right?
Yeah, I think only a pretty serious injury would stop him from that. If there is a niggle, they'd probably just roll with it because India's next upcoming assignments aren't as steep as this particular one. So Bumrah has to play both test matches. And if he doesn't, Sunny G is going to be pissed.
You just say
Anyway.
that lots of the modern bowlers are just softing again.
Anyway, I think that's enough on India. We'll be taking a short break. You guys are watching Good Areas Live with Behram and Varun. And once we're back in like half a minute, we'll be talking a bit about England. So go nowhere.
Cricket boards actually make watching their games almost impossible now. I spend almost as much time trying to find where I can view it as I do actually following the action. That is why I use NordVPN. They let me find all the cricket I want to watch while protecting me from the nasty side of the internet. Nord will free your cricket matches. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/good areas to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months on top. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Watch every match with NordVPN.
Welcome back to Good Areas Live. You guys are with Behram and Varun. And before we move on to England, let's take that super chat that we have and see if we can quickly answer that and then move on. All right. Navdeep Singh Bajaj has a question. He says, thoughts on new Champions League T20 not having a Pakistan team? Is there any confirmation around that? I know that the Cricketer dropped that article and they didn't specify that. I mean, I'm not saying this couldn't happen. I'm also like kind of agreeing with you that it could very well be the reality. But then again, I haven't read anything. Or maybe you know more than me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I heard some news that they want it to happen. I think ECB might be the one who wants it to happen. Like if I'm not mixing it up. Yeah.
Plus, if they ultimately get the Saudis to fund this tournament, then it should be easier to have a Pakistan team. I don't know. Look, in the I don't even want to say spirit of cricket because that's such a overused term now. In the best interest of franchise cricket, the PSL champions should be there because all the top leagues, like whoever wins those leagues, should compete in that tournament. But as we all know, there is not a lot of equity in cricket, and it can. There is a lot of muscle flexing and people getting stuff the way they want it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't no Pakistan team, but it would be disappointing.
Yeah, I still don't know how the league works with. It's not even like a question earlier was like the same players and everything. Now the coach, there's so much overlap with coaching stuff as well. Like, so what?
True.
How's that going to work? Like, how many teams are they going to coach at the same time, right?
Also, there are multiple franchises, T20 franchises, which are literally like the same franchise, but they have different teams in different leagues, right? So how does that work? Like, let's suppose Trent Bolt, is playing for one of the Mumbai teams. Which one is he playing for? Am I what? Right? Who gets to decide that? It's going to be pretty
Absolutely.
hodgepodge, I suppose.
Let's be fair. The answer is always the IPL first.
Yeah, of course. But then again, I still feel even if we can have a broken Champions League T20, having one would be nice, right? Because that is the natural evolution of franchise T20 cricket, and it would draw in scores of spectators and TV viewership. Everyone's going to be watching that tournament. So I feel like there's a lot of, untapped potential in the idea. And in an ideal world, you should have all the champions, right? The SA20, throw in the goddamn MLC for all I care, right? And the ILT20 and the PSL and IPL and Big Bash. The Hundi.
Yeah, speaking
BPL.
of spectators, like not having a PSL team would mean you just alienate Pakistan's viewer base, right?
Yeah, you kind of do. And like I probably still would end up watching it because we probably cover it. But for all those people who actually don't have to watch cricket for a living, why would they tune in, right? I would completely understand the boycott as well. I wouldn't ask them to tune in,
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to England. And Varun, I'm confused, man. Like in this last test match at Lord's, we saw England win the toss and Ben Stokes opted to bat. He had only done that once before in his entire captaincy tenure in that Edgbaston test versus Australia, the first Ashes test, which Pat Cummins helped Australia win. It was a heist. And then they don't even bat the baseball way. They don't baseball at all, with the bat. And sure, the conditions might have had a role to play with that. But now they haven't announced their starting 11, and we are less than 2 days away from the Old Trafford test. And this is just all really making me lose my shit.
Yeah, so they didn't do it for the last test match, which made sense because there was, I think, like 3 days between the two.
Yeah.
This is like we have had like about 8 days between the two test matches, so there's enough time. So like unless they're all just drunk at like a golf course somewhere, I don't know why that team hasn't been announced. Like,
Honestly,
maybe there is a change.
that's also something that could be quite likely. We know that they've gone to Dubai mid-tour to get drunk on a golf course before, right? When they toured India. Look, I mean, I personally am not a fan of announcing the team. I think that you can announce the team within your dressing room, and to the world, you just do it right after the toss. But England have made a habit out of this. In fact, I have to plan my content around all of this crap. That, oh, they might announce their team, so I have to preview the goddamn test match before that or after that. And you would be surprised at the amount of times where I've been at Pro Sports. We've recorded a goddamn hour-long podcast, and mid-podcast, they'd release the team, and you'd come out of the podcast and you'd be like, oh, fuck. You know? Like, it's happened so many times. And you know how I told you to like, hold on for this preview, and we'll do it once we know the team. But if they didn't announce it at the presser, they're not announcing it then. That's what I get.
Yeah, it's absolutely stupid to announce it days in advance. Why would you give the opposition a chance? Right?
I have
and also,
no
like,
idea
why
why teams do that.
Want social media onslaught before the test match anyway, in case you make questionable selections, right?
I mean, Pakistan has done it a few times too, and it bothers me. But this time it's bothered me in reverse because I was sure that they are going to announce their team today, right? Like, I'm telling you, we plan our shows with respect to all of this now. That, can't do it 2 days before, either go 3 days or 1 day. But they haven't, and that is very unlike England. And we've seen a lot of things which are very unlike England. So it is rather peculiar for the Baz ballers. But then again, I feel like they've kind of got their work cut out for them with respect to picking a team. Surely Liam Dawson comes in, right? I mean, because Shoaib Bashir has broken his finger on his left hand. So he's been ruled out of the series, which might even be a blessing in disguise, because Dawsey is a slow left armer who has heaps of experience under his belt, and he can bat. So that might just work out.
Yeah, like the one matchup I'm dying to see is Pant versus Dawson.
That would be quite brutal for Dawson.
Like Pant's peak left arm finger spinners don't matter in Test cricket, so it will be box office. It's he's either going to get out a lot or just smash him to retirement. Like, one of those things will happen. Like, I'm so excited to see which one it will be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be keeping a very, very keen eye on Liam Dawson, because I have been kind of singing his song for a bit. He brings a lot to the table. He has been underutilized by England, and he is quality. I've seen him play cricket, and this guy is a very, very handy cricketer. And it's not like, there's a plethora of spin bowling options within England. It could have been Rehan, it could have been Jack Leach, perhaps Tom Hartley, and then you've got Liam Dawson, and I think they've picked the right guy over here. But yeah, I feel like he walks into the team, and he, of course, replaces Bashir. And can you bring up this comment by DOF, the first one, the Chris Wokes one? So DOF says, the corpse of Wokes has to go out, a bit too dark. I do agree with this, though, because I thought Wokes would run riot in this series, and pretty much the opposite has happened. He's had a couple of good bowling innings in which he's ended up with like 3 wickets or so, but he hasn't been consistent enough. He hasn't been quick enough. And I mean, he's kind of looking like a liability in that starting 11 at this point. So personally, I don't know what they're going to do, but personally, I would drop him for Gus Atkinson, just to kind of try Atkinson out at this point. Jofra plays, has to. Again, England really, really need that express seamer who can kind of become an enforcer and take up or take new ball wickets as well. And then, of course, there's the question of Bryden Cars. He's been impressive in tiny patches. There'll be a few spells that he does really well, and particularly that spell at the end of day 4 at Lord's was really good, right? Where he got Karun Nair and Shubman Gill. But I feel like Cars is going to, evaporate or break down if they play him another test match or 4
his knees might snap off if he plays this one, right?
Yeah, surely he gets injured now if he plays this one. So I think they're going to have to play Josh Tongue then. They're probably forced into that corner as well.
So the DRF is saying they've announced the side.
Oh, you're kidding me. Have they? See, this happens all the time, guys.
They haven't announced the side. Give me a second, I'm just going to pull it up.
Tell me what
Zach
the
Crawley,
side is. Okay,
Zach
expected.
Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope.
Oh, they've
Joe
gone with
Root.
Pope then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry Brook, Ben Stokes, Jamie
Alrighty.
Smith, Liam
Cool.
Dawson, Chris
Yep.
Wokes,
Okay then.
Bryden Cass, Jofra Archer. That is a bad
What?
deep team.
This is not a smart team. I know that there's been a lot of, or there have been a lot of days in between, but goddamn, they're playing Cass another test match. They're really risking his body at this point. Chris Wokes hasn't been that good to retain his spot. Maybe Atkinson isn't match fit yet, so they didn't have options. Jofra expected to play, and this team, bats till 10? Or all the way through, does it? It bats all the way through.
Yeah, almost all the way through, right?
Yeah.
You take
Throw in
Jofra's batting
Cass
as well. He's not,
if Jofra
Yeah.
Archer is your number 11, that is a very, very deep batting lineup, right? Because I was arguing that if you play Dawson, you don't need Vokes' batting, right? Theoretically.
yeah, fair. Agreed.
I'm just happy we did India first and left England for later because this has happened mid-podcast. It's hilarious. Another thing that they probably could have done is drop Ollie Pope. He has retained his spot. We all know that he is a very weird cricketer in the sense that his batting record in the second batting innings of a test match, so third and fourth, is like he's averaging less than 20 runs per dismissal. So he's worse than Roston Chase. Just kind of, and not just worse by a little, like 6-7 runs per dismissal. He's worse than
Yeah,
Chase.
we have a video on him soon. It
Yeah,
might
we
be
will.
tomorrow.
Yeah, there is an Ollie Pope video coming out, and then he has that whole stat where once he crosses 30 odd, he averages 80 odd. I can't remember the exact numbers, and all of his runs mostly ever come in the first inning. So I thought that there's a lot of risk with respect to playing Ollie Pope because he's kind of not done anything ever since that ton that he got in the first test match. And they've stuck with him. Crawley, I expected them to stick with, right? Because it's not like they've got a replacement lined up and they only play him because he could potentially give them a start, right? They already know that. But with Pope, I mean, where are you at with this?
Yeah, I don't mind Pope sticking around just because like no number 3 has made any runs. Even like if you remove his numbers versus Zimbabwe and Ireland, he's still averaging like 35, which from the modern number 3 you would take. Like,
You would, actually. I don't know. He's a good fielder.
And as you said,
He's a backup
like, I'm
wicketkeeper.
surprised Crawley's around, if anything. Like maybe
Yeah,
they
but
don't want Duckett and Bethel opening.
Who is the replacement for Crawley? Dom Sibley?
I assume
Bethel.
Bethel.
Bethel could probably function better as a false number 3. I actually wanted that to happen. I wanted them to replace Ollie Pope with Jacob Bethel.
Yeah,
But they haven't done
yeah,
that
I think
either.
that's fair.
Interesting. Anyway, you guys let us know in the comments as well what you would have done with the starting 11. I think I would have stuck with Crawley and Duckett because I feel like Crockett as a partnership has worked in this era of baseball. And it's actually one of the unsung factors which has contributed a lot to their success, whatever success they've had. And Pope, for me, didn't retain his spot. I wanted Bethel in. And we even spoke about this in the preview, Varun, if you remember, that Ollie Pope might lose his spot mid-series, and they haven't done that. So they've stuck with pretty much the same team. The only change over here is Shoaib Bashir out and Liam Dawson in.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe that
they've
is
done
the case,
nothing
yes.
else. Was
Yeah.
Sam Cook a part of the squad for the
No,
fourth
he's
test
not,
match?
I think they removed him from the squad.
Yeah.
Right?
So he could have been someone who potentially could have replaced Chris Wokes as well. But you might as well play Josh Tung then, even if Gus isn't fit, because what has Wokes done?
Didn't they remove him from the squad as well, or did they remove Overton?
I can't remember, but I think Cook might have lost his place in the squad. He was a part of the squad till the last test match. I think they might have removed him.
Yeah,
for
so
the fourth
interestingly,
one.
about Crawley and Duckett, I was looking this up earlier today. Bumrah's averaging 72 in the first 15 overs this series. He's not taking any new ball
Whoa.
wickets.
That's
it's
really
crazy.
fascinating.
Even
Yeah,
in the
because
first 30 overs, he's averaging 50. I think other seamers, it's like 32, 33. But with the
Damn.
older ball, he's averaging 22. When no one else is taking any wickets. The other seamers are averaging 60. It's
That is
crazy.
really
Like, Bumrah's
fascinating.
insane.
There have been
it's why
plenty
we
of-
think he's first change, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was completely with you where I thought that they should open the bowling with Akashdeep and Siraj and Bumrah could come first change. And also, Varun, you know that how the lacquer slightly comes off after like 10, 12 overs and the ball swings a bit more? So use Bumrah, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense to me, but they haven't gone that direction. And you're right. Every time that England start their batting innings, like there's been that one time where he got Crawley in the first over and that might have been it.
Yeah, that was the only wicket in the first 15 overs he's got this series. It's crazy.
That is insane.
And also, I was talking to Shayan about this. He made an interesting point. If India win the series, does that count as a series win for Bumrah? Because he'd be 2-2.
No, of course it does. When you're part of the team, it's the collective success of the team that matters. I mean, Shardul would have even won the series, Varun. Forget Bumrah. But yeah, okay then. Not completely satisfied with the team that England have gone with. But then again, let's not forget that we had like over a week between test matches. So, you'd hope that the likes of Ben Stokes are well rested. Bryden Cast, for his sake, I hope he's well rested. And yeah, then you've got Woksy once again, who will take the new ball with Cas. No, Jofra. With Jofra. Cas' first change.
I think that's the other reason they stuck with Wokes. They don't have a new ball bowler otherwise.
Yeah, that is also very, very fair. That's probably why they could have potentially retained Sam Cook in the squad and given him a game, because it was a flat deck at Trent Bridge, bro. When he played Zimbabwe. So
I guess
but then
their
again,
logic is if
you
Zimbabwe
can
could handle them well, India will.
You can imagine India's batters playing way outside their crease and negating the wobble seam altogether, right? So that's something they could have done anyway. All right then, I don't think there's much else to discuss. What's your prediction for this game?
I want India to win, but I'm gonna say rained out.
Yeah, same. I think it's going to be a draw because I looked at the weather forecast and it's looking very, very damp, guys. I think there was a little cloud with a drop of rain every single one of those days.
Now I was checking it. So there doesn't seem to be that, weirdly now. It's only Wednesday, Thursday. So on Wednesday, it's raining from 3 onwards. And then on Thursday, it's raining in the morning. So again, the thing with the UK is you don't know. It could rain at any point at a given time. So it's
maybe we get lucky, but we also know that
it would be just wrong if we had an English summer without a washout. I'll be honest. But I'm really hoping for a 3-day test match. I don't think we'll get it, but that's what I'm really hoping for.
Well, let's suppose the first day gets washed out in its entirety. We'll get more overs every other day, right?
Yeah. With this rover radar, does it matter?
Yeah. Atul Singh has a fun comment over here. He says, when is it not damp in Manchester? Yeah, I call it Rainchester because we all know that once it starts raining, it can go south real quick, with respect to any sort of sport happening, apart from football, because you can still play in rain. But as Varun pointed out, the over rates might actually really play a big role over here, because we got a result in the previous test match and England also got docked 2 points. But if the over rate is shit with rain around, surely we won't get a result then.
Nah, unless basketball, unless we see a combination of gumball and basketball together.
Or chess ball. But anyway.
Or bear ball, as Jared calls it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so it's a draw from both of us. That's our prediction. Leave your predictions in the comment section as well. And thank you for all of your comments in general, all of your interactions. They are valued. And for that super chat that came as well. And just a quick reminder, you guys can go to goodareas.co and bookmark that webpage, and that can prove to be your one-stop shop for all the fun work that we do as part of our team, whether it be written content, videos, or podcasts. And just to repeat myself from earlier, these podcasts are powered by our supporters on Patreon, and you can become one by going to patreon.com/goodareaspodcast, and then you can enjoy ad-free content, talk to us exclusively, chat about life, suggest a topic for a podcast, anything that you want to do, you can. It's a really, really fun community. So yeah, that's it for today. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the test match. Take care of yourselves, and let's all hope that the rain stays away. That's all for now, folks. See you later, and goodbye.
Brian Lara used pot plants to work on his placement. John Wright glued his glove to his bat. Sachin Tendulkar dug up practice pitches. Tatenda Taibu cut the top off his bat. Claire Taylor used a hockey grip. Steve Smith was from tennis. Dean Jones would call phantom runs. And Victor Trumper turned the nets into a war zone to survive. The best batters in the world do whatever they have to make runs. We have told their stories in our new book, The Art of Batting.